Good day. Today we're looking at, just want to make sure we're sharing the scene. Looking at the 7th, Thursday the 7th. Okay, so yesterday concluded our, nothing's ever really concluded, but concluded the third day of lesson 5, which was dividing polynomials through long division. The next topic is the second divisional method that we use, which is called synthetic division. So we'll spend today and tomorrow on it, and we're going to review on Monday the 11th, and your next Edulastic assessment will be on Tuesday. So basically we're going to get into, I assigned a little bit more work problem-wise because this is a quicker process than long division, and it's certainly, I feel, a much easier. So to kind of get into what we're doing, we're going to start with the warm-up, kind of what we did yesterday, where we're dividing two polynomials through long division and using placeholders. So kind of give you an idea here, we're just seeing how many times x plus 3 goes into x cubed plus 27. So if you're going from a cubic term to a constant, so you need two placeholders. You need one for the quadratic term. You need a 0x squared, and you need a 0x. And you're going to see that synthetic division works very, very similar with the placeholders. And then we just complete the process. Okay, so the first box. We need something times x to give us x cubed, which is x squared. Because x cubed divided by x is x squared, so x cubed times x plus 3, x squared times x plus 3, excuse me, is x cubed plus 3x squared. And then we subtract vertically. So let's change colors. So make it 3x go negative, these cancel. 0 minus 3 is negative 3x squared. Drop the 0x because there are two terms in our divisor. We need a second box here. So something times x gives you negative 3x squared. So that's something. Negative 3x squared divided by x, that's negative 3x. So that goes up here. So negative 3x times x plus 3 is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times 3 is negative 9x. Subtract going down. Let's use another color. This is going to cancel, and the 9 becomes a positive. So that's 9x plus 27. And the chances are we're going to do the same problem again the next couple of days. And then get that up here. We need something times x to give us 9x. That, of course, is going to be 9. So we'll show that here. 9x divided by x is 9. That goes up here. We have 9x plus 27. Plus, minus, minus, everything cancels. That's our quotient here, x squared plus negative 3x plus 9. Let's just write a little bit more professionally here. X squared minus 3x plus 9. Okay. Is your quotient. Okay, so I would say the majority unit assessment is probably going to be half of it's going to be division, and then half of it's going to be a review of solving equations, which those people who took the less Edulastic tests did very well on that. So I will get the review problems out to you on a Microsoft Word document on Friday, and we will go over those on Monday. So then we're going to look at synthetic division. Okay, divide polynomials through synthetic division. Okay. So synthetic division is a process that takes the coefficient of the dividend and the excluded value of the divisor. Okay, so this explains how to find the excluded value. You simply just set the denominator equal to 0 and solve for x. Okay, and basically what I have here, and I'm going to leave this up for a few days, is this is kind of a review of how we do problem 1. Okay, and it's also, if you look at the notes from lesson 5, we divided the same two polynomials to long division and got the same answer, which is down here, 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. Okay, so I'll take you through it in example 1. Okay, so what we do here, it's a simple process. We start with a little box here, okay? And in this box, we put the excluded value, which comes from x plus 7. So we do this. X plus 7 is equal to 0, solve for x. So that number, negative 7, goes in here. So it's always coming from the divisor. It's never going to come from the dividend. And what we do horizontally is we list the coefficients of the dividend. So 2x cubed. We do 11 for 11x squared, negative 20 for negative 20x, and positive 7, a constant. Okay. Now, the first thing we always do is just we bring down the leading coefficient. So technically, we add 0 to it. I don't write a number in here, okay? But we're going to write numbers in here, here, and here. So it's a pretty simple pattern. So that pattern basically is you take what's down here, in this case 2, and multiply it by negative 7. So 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. And then we just add down. 11 added to negative 14 is negative 3. And then we just repeat the process. We take what's down here, multiply it by negative 7. That gives us 21. 21 minus 20 is positive 1. And then we take 1 times negative 7 is negative 7. And then we have 0. Okay? So read this last step here. Finally, write the quotient using the coefficients. Okay, your remaining coefficients are 2, negative 3, 1, and 0. So we divide these by 1. So the reason why we divide it by 1 is 1x. So you can just leave these alone. You never, okay, we never divide the remainder by that leading coefficient in the divisor. It's never, ever. And sometimes you could have 2 or 3 terms left over as your remainder. Since we are dividing a cubic by x plus 7, your 2 is a quadratic term because you're decomposing down from a 3rd degree to a 1st degree. So you're just subtracting 3 minus 1. So it's 2x squared negative 3x, and the 1 is a constant. So that is your quotient, 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. Okay? So try number 2. All of these problems I'm given today should not have a divisor. Excuse me, should not have a remainder. We'll do those with remainders tomorrow. But try number 2 and I'll be back to go over it. Hey, welcome back. First of all, this should be the setup. The excluded value is 2 because when we set x minus 2 to 0, x is 2. So I know some of you would say, oh, Mr. G, isn't it just the opposite? Yeah, a lot of times it's just the opposite. So if you're using subtraction, your excluded value is a positive. So just repeat the process, bring the 3 down. Okay, times 2 is 6. So we put the 6 here. So 3 times 2 is 6. And we add down 8 and 6 is 14. Now I'm going to multiply 14 by 2 and get 28. Add down, I get 18. Times 2. 18 times 2 is 36. Add down, you get 0. So this is 3x squared plus 14x plus 18 is your quotient. Okay. So what we want to do next is transition, complete problems 1 through 2 on the assigned problems. So I'll be back to go over those. Okay, so an example, problem 1. This is what the procedure looks like. I'm just gonna, before I write the answer should be 1x squared plus 9x plus 20. Okay, so your excluded value is 3. So bring down the 1. Times 3 is 3. 6 and 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Added to negative 7 is 20. And 20 times 3, excuse me, is 60. Added to negative 60 is 0. So our answer is 1x squared plus 9x plus 20. And for question 2, you get some big numbers here. Because our excluded value is negative 10. But I have a method of actually how I can write these and whether or not I come up with a divisor or not. So the constant here is but this isn't too difficult because after we bring down the 1, we know 1 times negative 10 is negative 10. We know negative 10 minus 5 is negative 15. So that's not too bad. Negative 15 times negative 10 is positive 150. Added to 3, negative 3 is 147, and that's not too bad. And even the multiplication of these two integers, 147 times negative 10, it comes out to negative 1470, but it's going to cancel out. Okay. So our quotient is x squared minus 15x plus 147. Okay. So today we're really doing problems that shouldn't have a remainder. So when I planned this, I said, well, we should do that. And we should get to place problems with placeholders immediately, like examples 3 and 4, and problems 1 and 4, 3 and 4. So if we got a placeholder, so when we look at these, we're dividing 3x cubed minus 8x minus 57 by x minus 3. So the excluded value is positive 3. Okay, it comes right from here. And we don't want to make the mistake of doing this. What I'm doing right now is the mistake. Because you skip from the cubic term to the linear term. So you need a 0 for the quadratic term here. Okay, so this one needs a placeholder. A placeholder, you just put a 0 in there. So it's a 0x squared, negative 8x, negative 57. Then everything is the same as we did before. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 0 is 9. Times 3 is 27. 27 minus 8 is 19. Times 3 is 57. Okay. And you got 1x, so you would divide 3, 19, and 9 by 1. That's 3x squared plus 9x plus 19. Okay. So example 4 is similar. You got big numbers here, but they should come out to a remainder of 0. So when you set this up, excluded value, x plus 4. That means that x can't equal negative 4. We'll talk about that when we start Unit 5 before my transition. And then when you line the coefficients, the 4 does go first. Negative 7 for x squared. But you notice here we skip over x. So we're going to go 0 and 368. And just go through this. And I'll be back to go through it. Okay, welcome back. I left this the same way. So just if you're doing it, start with 4 times negative 4 is 16, negative 16. Negative 7 and negative 16 is negative 23. Okay? And then negative 23 times negative 4, I believe is 92. Get some numbers, you really got to use a calculator. It is 92. So we got 92 here. 92 and 0 is 92. So times negative 4. That's why you got some crazy numbers here, because I just want to make sure your remainders are 0. So that's negative 368. And that's 0. You got 4x squared minus 23x plus 92. So what I want you to do next is try problems 3 and 4, and I'll be back to go over it. Okay, so if you want to just briefly, we'll go over problems 3 and 4. In problem 3, the excluded value is 4. And the coefficients, you need a 0 between the 2 and negative 5. Okay, because you got 2x cubed and 0x squared. Okay, constant's negative 108. So your coefficients are 2, 0, negative 5, negative 108. Drop the 2. Times 4 is easy, that's 8. Added to 0 is 8. That's easy. 8 times 4 is 32. 32 added to negative 5 is 27. That's easy. And 27 times 4 is 108. Added to negative 108, you get 0. So that's not too bad. So our quotient is 2x squared plus 8x plus 27. And then in question 4, okay, is is your excluded value is -2. And you got a placeholder here. You got 3x cubed, -2x squared. And you need a 0 for the 0x between -2 and +32. Okay. So drop the 3 times -2 is -6. Added to -2 is -8. -8 times -2 is 16. Added to 0 is 16. And then times -2 is -32. Okay. So this should be an easy 10 out of 10 if you're doing it. That's 3x squared minus 8x plus 16. Okay. So the homework assignment from Monday was long division. And for today, the 4 problems I assigned 2 on Monday, and then I assigned 4 on Thursday. So maybe during the review, there are certain situations where you have to use long division. But for all the problems I assigned, you don't have to. Okay, so just I got a little bit technical difficulties there. So just basically here, I went through all the calculations. We end up with 3x squared minus 8x plus 16. So going forward, tomorrow we'll be going through examples with remainders and taking it a step further. So I'll be in touch. Have a great day.